They laughed when he walked into the class that day, not because he was funny, but because they thought he was pathetic. "Look, the fridge has legs." Someone shouted, and the whole room erupted, not realizing they had just sparked the rise of a legend. Malik Thompson wasn't just chubby. He was the walking, breathing definition of every cruel high school stereotype. Slow, quiet, introverted, and easy to break. He wore baggy clothes not for style, but to hide his body, his pain, the fact that his single mom couldn't afford new uniforms. His lunch? It's often skipped. Not by choice, but because he'd rather be hungry than sit alone in shame while others laughed at the way he chewed. Behind his thick glasses were eyes that had seen too much for a 15-year-old. His father's disappearance, his mother working 2 jobs to keep the lights on, and now the daily torment of high school life. Every step in those crowded hallways was a battle. Whispers, giggles, shoves, sometimes spit. He would go home, lock his door, and cry into the pillow he pretended was just old and lumpy, but soaked in the same tears every night. But even in the darkest nights, Malik dreamed. He dreamed of building things, of designing clothes that made people feel beautiful, of inventing an app that could translate emotions into color, of speaking on stages not as a victim but as a visionary. He wasn't just hurt, he was becoming. He used the internet like a lifeline, spending years teaching himself coding, branding, business, fashion, and self-worth from people who had been through worse and survived. By the time he turned 19, Malik was a ghost to his classmates. Gone, vanished into silence. Some thought he'd quit life. In truth, he was building one. 5 years later, the world met the storm they had unknowingly created. Malik didn't return with a grudge. He returned with an empire. He had lost over 70 pounds, gained muscle, confidence, and a sense of style that made fashion giants reach out for partnerships. His app Orasync was trending worldwide, an emotional intelligence tool that connected fashion, tech, and mental health, using AI to detect how you feel and design clothes that matched or uplifted your state of mind. Investors begged to join. Celebrities endorsed it. Magazines couldn't stop featuring him. He returned to Grayson High, not in a rented car, but a luxury electric concept vehicle he designed himself. The school was hosting a 10-year reunion. Malik walked in like the sun after a decade of darkness. Calm, radiant, untouchable. Some people stared in disbelief. Others whispered and checked their phones, realizing the man standing at the door was the same boy they used to trip and insult. His name was now in headlines, but his scars still whispered in his soul. As he stood by the trophy case, the same one he used to stare at while being mocked for never winning anything, a familiar face approached him. Trent, the worst of his bullies, the self-proclaimed alpha, now bald, overweight, jobless, and stuttering. Malik, ... Man, I was stupid back then, we were just kids. Malik looked at him, eyes still soft but voice firm. Kids are cruel. Men take responsibility. Trent looked down, ashamed, as Malik gently added, I forgive you, but I don't owe you my story. And just like that, the rest started to show up. Girls who once called him unlovable, guys who pushed his head into toilets, even a few teachers who ignored his cries. They all had excuses, regrets, and apologies. But Malik didn't need them. He'd made peace, not for them, but for himself. The moment he gave his speech as the guest of honor, not just for being successful, but for donating $2 million to rebuild the school's tech and mental health facilities, was the moment he looked directly at every former bully and said, You helped build this. Every insult, every bruise, every ignored cry, I carried it with me, and I turned it into gold. The crowd roared. Cameras flashed. But in his heart, Malik knew something deeper. Revenge wasn't about making them suffer. It was about showing them that they never had the power to stop him. Later that night, as he sat alone in the back seat of his car, the school building shrinking in the distance, Malik scrolled through photos from the reunion. He smiled, not with arrogance, but with a strange mix of sadness and strength. Because beneath the success was still that little boy who once cried himself to sleep, wondering why he wasn't enough. He wasn't trying to impress anyone anymore. He had already won. The world saw a billionaire genius. he saw a survivor. And as the rain tapped gently on the windows, Malik whispered to himself, "Let them laugh. Their laughter made me unstoppable." So to every underdog out there, every quiet soul breaking inside, your time will come. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. But when it does, it'll be loud enough to silence every voice that ever told you you can't. From pain to power. From mockery to mastery. Malik's story isn't just about revenge, it's a reminder that every scar can become a symbol of strength. So if you're fighting silent battles, hold on. Your rise is coming. If this story moved you, don't just scroll away, like this video. Share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a story that inspires, heals, and empowers. This is Tales by Abdul, where pain becomes power and every underdog gets their roar. Until next time, keep rising. From pain to power. From mockery to mastery. Ain't story isn't just about revenge. It's a reminder that every scar can become a symbol of strength. So if you're fighting silent battles, hold on. Your rise is coming.